Sooner or later, life hands every one of us a reason to close our heart. A grief that does not heal, a betrayal by someone we trusted, a wrong that is never made right. And in that moment, hardening yourself feels like the only sane thing left to do. If I stop feeling, I stop hurting. The Diné have a teaching about that moment and about a quiet danger hidden inside it. Because a hard heart does not cost you nothing. It costs you far more than you think. First, understand what a hard heart really is, because it is easy to mistake it for something else. It is not the same as anger. Anger is loud and anger passes. A hard heart is quiet and it stays. It is not a single moment of rage. It is a slow decision made after enough pain that it is safer not to feel, safer not to trust, safer not to care. And the strange thing is how gently it happens. No one wakes up one morning and decides to go cold. It comes a little at a time. Someone lets you down, so you trust a little less. You are hurt, so you open a little slower the next time. Each small closing feels reasonable, even wise. And then one day you notice that you do not feel much of anything anymore, that people have become a kind of weather you simply endure, and you cannot quite remember when that began. And the old people never pretended that the wounds behind it were not real. They knew that grief is real. They knew that betrayal is real and that some injustices are never set right in this life. They did not tell their people to feel nothing. So understand this clearly. A hard heart is almost never chosen out of cruelty. It is chosen out of pain. It feels like armor. It feels like the one wall that can keep you from being broken again. If nothing can touch me, the heart reasons, then nothing can hurt me. And for a while that even seems to work. But here's what the old people saw, the thing a hard heart never tells you. A wall that keeps the pain out keeps everything else out too. The very hardness that protects you from being hurt also shuts the door on love and on trust and on the people who would have helped you heal if you had only let them close enough. You build the wall to guard one wound, and slowly you find yourself standing alone behind it. And there is something more. The Diné hold one idea at the very center of a good life: to live in balance, to stay in right relation with the world around you, with the land, with the people, with the sacred. They call it walking in beauty, and a hard heart cannot walk in beauty. It cannot stay in relation with anything. It can only stand guard. So a hard heart does not just cost you the bad feelings you were trying to avoid. It costs you the good life along with them. And it is rarely something you carry alone. The people who love you feel the cold of it, even when you say nothing. Children especially. They learn a hard heart the way they learn everything else, by watching the people who raise them. A heart that closed to protect one person can quietly teach a whole family to close, until coldness becomes the way your people meet the world, passed down like an inheritance no one meant to give. That is part of why the old ones watched this so carefully. A hard heart does not stay inside one chest. There is an older teaching underneath all of this, one we have spoken of before. The Diné say there are 4 fires inside a person, and one of them burns in the heart. It is the fire that lets you feel and love and care for someone other than yourself. And like any fire, it can go cold. When the fire in the heart goes out, that is exactly the thing we have been describing. A person becomes hard and closed and shut away. So the work was never to feel nothing. The work is to keep that fire alive, even after life has handed you every reason in the world to let it die. And the old people gave one piece of instruction that is the key to all of it. When someone wrongs you, they said, it is right to hate the wrong itself, hate the cruelty, hate the lie, hate the thing that was done, but do not hate the person. You hate what a person does, never who they are. And this is not softness, it is self-defense of the deepest kind. Because the moment you begin to hate the person, the wrong has taken a second thing from you. The first thing it took was whatever it took. The second thing is your own heart. There is an old way of seeing it. Hatred is a fire too, but it is the kind that burns the one who carries it. You think you are aiming it at the person who hurt you, but they may be far away, sleeping soundly, never feeling it at all. The only one it reliably burns is you. Every day you keep it lit. To refuse to hate the person is not to let them off. It is to refuse to let the harm finish its work in you. The Diné also teach that the very same hardship can do two completely opposite things. The same loss that turns one person tender and patient and full of compassion for everyone who suffers turns another person to stone. The same betrayal that teaches one person mercy teaches another only suspicion. You have seen both. You have met the old woman who buried a child and somehow came out gentler, quicker, to comfort anyone in pain. And you have met the man who was wronged once and spent the rest of his life guarding against a blow that never came again. The hurt was real for both of them, but the hurt did not decide what they became. What makes the difference is not the size of the wound. It is what each of them chooses to do with it. And a hard heart does one more thing, quieter than the rest. It changes how you see. When the heart goes cold, the mind begins to follow. You start to expect the worst of people before they have done anything at all. You read an insult into a silence, a threat into an act of kindness. The world begins to look like it is full of enemies, not because it has changed, but because you are now looking at it through a wall. A guarded heart cannot see clearly. It can only see danger. So the hardness you took on to protect yourself ends up deceiving you, and it leaves you more alone than the first wound ever did. So how do you keep a heart soft when everything in you wants to close it? You do it the way you keep any fire, a little at a time and on purpose. First, you let yourself grieve the thing instead of sealing it away. A wound that is felt can heal. A wound that is buried just goes hard. Then you forgive someone not because what they did was small, but because you refuse to carry it inside you as coldness. You let yourself care for a person again, even when it would be safer not to, even when caring is the very thing that got you hurt the last time. You stay in relation instead of standing guard, and you do not try to do it alone. The Diné understood that a heart is not really kept warm by itself. It is kept warm in relation among your relatives and your people, the ones who know you and want you well. So when you feel yourself beginning to harden, the old way was not to withdraw further into the cold. It was to return, to sit with the people who care for you, even on the nights you would rather be alone. Because a single coal set off by itself goes out faster. A coal kept close to other coals stays alive. And do not let anyone tell you this is the weak path. A soft heart, after everything you have been through, is not weakness. It is the harder thing and the braver one. Anyone can go cold. Coldness is easy. To stay warm after you have been burned takes more strength than hardness ever did. It is a fire kept burning through a long, cold season by someone who decided the warmth was worth the work. So tonight, ask yourself one gentle question. Is there a place where your heart has already begun to harden? A person you have quietly decided to stop feeling for? A door you closed long ago and told yourself you would never open again? You do not have to leave it that way. The fire in your heart has not gone out. If you can still be moved by a story like this one, then a coal is still glowing in there somewhere, and a single coal is all it takes. You do not have to be Diné to live by this. Take what helps you here and make it stronger in your own life. And if this gave you a little warmth today, subscribe and walk the good path with us. There are more of these teachings still to tell. Thank you for listening and for listening with respect. And those are the things we are told.